Hey, what's up guys? John here. As of this morning, banks nationwide have begun halting on lending, whether it be auto loans, commercial real estate, residential real estate, credit cards. They are taking risk off the table because they see a really big problem coming right ahead. Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, they're saying the same exact thing. They're saying the banking crisis has only just begun. Now, what's going to happen next? Well, I'm going to tell you because this is going to be shocking. I believe, and I've talked about this on this channel, we're in the greatest rug pull of all time. The middle class is about to get completely rug pulled. And I'm going to break it down for you because it's shocking. I mean, student loans are going to be due in 75 days. And you're looking at, almost 1 in 4 Americans has a student loan bill. And the average payment's going to be about $500 a month. How is that going to hold up? Well, we're going to start seeing more and more people unable to make their bills. That's what's going to happen. And who's going to be holding a lot of that risk? Banks. And they're going to try to limit that risk. And I'm going to break it down for you clearly in this video. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what's really going on in the U.S. economy. Every time you hit the like button, YouTube will share it with one person. Also, today's video is sponsored by my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you want to fix your credit to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer of all time, we'd love to give you a free consultation. When banks look at risk going forward, they're only going to lend money to people that they think offer the least amount of risk. And that's going to be people with good credit. That's it. If you have bad credit, good luck the next couple of years. It's going to get harder and harder and harder to get ahead. Take a look at this. The banking crisis has only just begun. Right? Today, Bloomberg, more Americans are getting turned down for loans, Fed data shows. USA Today, more Americans rejected for loans just as they are feeling tapped out. Yahoo News, more Americans getting turned down for loans. But look at this. Yesterday, commercial real estate lending fell for the first time in 2 years. For the first time in 2 years last month as credit conditions tighten. Now, since banks are tightening lending, small businesses are turning to customers to try to raise money. They're trying to sell bonds in their business to customers. Say, look, you're not going to get equity in the business, but we'll try to form some type of win-win relationship between me and you. This is what they're trying to do to stay afloat. This, to me, offers some significant red flags. I think a lot of small businesses are going to be facing significant headwind in the coming year or two. Fed open to another rate hike after expected increase this month. The Fed is debating getting rate hikes out of the way sooner. This came out yesterday. But look at this. Look at this. Just to paint a clear picture of what the Fed's trying to do. They want to increase unemployment rate, and they want people to have less money. They want people to basically be broke. This is my opinion. Look what they said. We see today that there's a bit of savings buffer still sitting for households that may allow them to continue to spend in a way that keeps demand strong, she said. That suggests we may have to keep at this for a while. Well, what does that mean? Well, look, Fed wants higher unemployment because it brings down inflation. So you think about this. If you were a bank, if you were a lending institution, and you were looking at the Fed that's essentially steering the economy, saying, look, the Fed wants people to have less work, they want people to have less money, and they realize that people have more consumer and credit card debt than they've ever had before. Over $1 trillion in credit card debt, 1.6 trillion in auto loans, 1.7 trillion in student loans that's soon going to become due. If you were a bank, would you want to lend to the everyday American right now? Probably not, because the everyday American is going to be in big trouble, right? And look at this. Why the Fed wants a good inflation report, but not a good jobs report. They say the unemployment number is 3.6%. I mean, maybe they're saying because the average American nowadays needs 2 or 3 jobs to make bills. I don't see 3.6%. This data, I think people should really question it. 43.5 million Americans have student loan debt. It's a big number. Out of 196 million that are over the age of 21, right? So you think about that. You're looking at roughly 20% of the entire U.S. population is going to have to start making student loan bills in 75 days. That's going to be a problem, especially considering the fact that the average bill is about $503 a month, right? So if you're looking at $503 a month on one hand, you have an average car payment in America is $716. So just those two, you're looking at about $1,300 a month, right? Then you're looking at car insurance, maybe another $200 a month. So that's $1,500. Gas, you fill the tank once a week, $50 a pop. That's another $200. You're at $1,700 right there. You haven't factored in an apartment yet. An apartment, let's say it's $1,500, You need to pay utilities as well. Maybe all in $1,700. You're looking at $3,500 right there. You have not paid taxes. You have not fed yourself yet. You haven't paid for internet. You haven't went out with your friends. You haven't done anything. I mean, you haven't serviced any credit card debt. You haven't serviced anything, right? So, I mean, you look at this. The average person's probably spending $35 to $4,000 a month. When this ticks in, I mean, this is going to be a big problem. This is going to be a huge problem, and we're going to start to see a lot of people not be able to make the numbers work. We're going to start seeing these big defaults. There's almost no way around it. And so this is going to basically be between, the student loan bill is going to be between 5 and 10% of their income, 5 to 10% of their income. Some say it's going to be no more than 8% of gross income. I mean, that's a big number. It's a really big number. Yet already credit card defaults are already surging. So you have credit card defaults already picking up. Commercial real estate prices are still expected to crater. I mean, this is going to be interesting. Food inflation soars, with household favorites almost tripling in price in 2 years as millions struggle to feed their families. And that's The Guardian. So you start to look at this with real wages also starting to come down. The amount of people are paid adjusted for inflation are falling as well. Since Biden took office in January 2021, the increase in prices due to inflation is over 14%, resulting in a loss in real wages by nearly 4%. And this is house.gov, right? Budget.house.gov. This isn't a skewed article. Nearly 4 in 10 Americans now struggle to pay their usual bills. So this is a month ago, right? And this is not taken into, obviously, into consideration that student loans are going to be due October 1st. And right now, this is a startling figure. According to a recent survey by Payments.com and Lending Club, 58% of Americans have admitted to living paycheck to paycheck, including more than 30% of those making over $20,000 a month, $250,000 a year, and they're paycheck to paycheck, right? A large chunk of them. But banks are already they're already preparing for all of these losses. Office loans, commercial real estate. This is going to be something that I think is going to change the entire economy, especially when we look at one huge milestone that the American economy hit in 2020 and 2021, which was this massive real estate frenzy to the likes of which no one saw coming. I mean, 40% of all mortgages in America taken out inside of a 24-month period with record low interest rates and record high home prices. So what happened? Average down payment, roughly 10%. People, they can't refinance their homes. You need 20% equity in your property to refinance. And so if people bought a house, they put 10% down, they still need to, basically come up with 10% to be able to refinance. So they have the golden handcuffs on. They can't refinance, they can't get access to money, banks are tightening up. We're going to see a situation where we're going to see tons of deals hit the market. Tons of assets are going to start to hit the market. There's no way around it. Small businesses getting hit. It's going to be the greatest wealth transfer, I'm telling you guys. But look at this. This is something very fascinating that a lot of people aren't talking about. It's this credit card situation. If you have credit card debt, I mean, this is something you should be doing right now. So $15,000, right? Let's say you have a $15,000 balance, and the interest rate's 28%, which is not crazy. A lot of credit cards now are 26, 28, 30% interest now. But if you were to make the minimum payments, $355 a month, right? It would take you 15 years and 5 months to pay it off, and you'd pay $50,000 in interest. $50,000 in interest. That is absolutely insane, right? If you make the minimum payments. A lot of people get into the minimum payment loop where they just make the minimum payments and they say, you know what, I'll deal with it, in a month or 2 months, I'm going to figure out a way to pay this down. And then before you know it, they pay 2, 3, 4 years of minimum payments. But you look at that. Every month, of the $355, $273 would go exclusively to interest. $273 a month would go just to interest. All you do is you take the 15 months, right? So 30 years is 360 months. 15 years is 180 months. 180 plus the 5 months, 185 months divided by the $50,607 in interest, and it gives you that number, right? $273 a month. But if you were to pay off principal, only principal, it would take you 42 months, right? So about almost 4 years, a little bit less, right? So you'd go from a period of 15 and a half years to, 3.5 years roughly. 4 years is 48 months, so roughly 3.5 years. Now, what you could do if you have high interest credit card debt right now is there's so many credit card offers There's so many credit card offers offering 0% balance transfers. So where you can take that 28% interest credit card, take the entire balance and transfer it to a 0% APR card. You're going to need a credit score of, in many cases, north of 700. It might show on the website, they'll accept 670 or 680 or 700. But when you actually apply, you're going to probably see a higher likelihood of getting declined. Like, you want to be on the upper echelon every time that you apply for a credit card, because you don't want to get an inquiry and then, for no reason, and not be able to actually get the line of credit. You want to apply for loans and actually get them. This is what people should be doing right now if they have credit card debt, is doing these balance transfers before the banks start to really get even more skittish. Once they start to see massive losses start to hit, I think a lot of these offers, a lot of these 0% APR offers are going to start getting pulled. So this is the time to be really strategic and to really play defense and pay attention to what's happening. This is going to be something so big, and people need to pay attention to it. We're in the greatest wealth transfer of all time. I keep saying this in the last bunch of videos, because we are. You look at it, like, middle class is getting completely leveled. The last couple of years, the middle class has been getting hit. And I think the next couple of years is going to be way, way worse. So people need to be strategic. They need to be forward thinking. They need to look at what the future is going to be like. They need to plan ahead. They need to get out of high interest rate consumer debt, because what I'm seeing is Jerome Powell is going to keep hiking interest rates for the short term. They're going to keep them elevated for the long, potentially for longer than many people expect. And I don't think the cost of food and I don't think the cost of living is going to be going down anytime soon. So you got to play defense. Last thing you want to do is pay 28% interest to some bank or lending institution. So yeah, what do you think about this? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about it. If you want to fix your credit and potentially put yourself in a position to get some of these 0% APR cards and potentially open yourself up to some great lending opportunities, we'd love to help you. Fix your credit at greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. Go there, schedule a free consultation, and catch you guys in the next video.